time, since the team hubris was a thing. We'll see what they want to bust out here on defense. I imagine the Slasher, for the most part, is going to be on Zen regardless. Looks pretty standard coming out. It seems like Legit is going to run the Mercy, so that's something that we haven't seen a whole lot lately, but new patch, new Mercy meta back in. Hollywood is a great map for it, as she could revive everyone. Steel will be playing the Zarya Wonderfuls on his Reinhardt. Mendo, of course, is going to play a DPS. That's going to be McCree, and Clamp will round it out on a defensive Tracer.
And that's interesting because there was a point where Clamp was more on the hard-hitting hit-scan characters like McCree, and Mendo was more Tracers, so at some point they've swapped things up here. We'll see how it works out. Both players, though, very accomplished at the hit-scan craft. Slasher on the Zenyatta in the back with Mercy. And, yeah, pretty standard defense coming out here. We've seen the defensive Tracer more and more just to harass the backline and make things pretty rough. Meanwhile, take it... Ignoring Mendo stuff and chat, taking a look here at the offense. It is going to be Tilde on the McCree, Izka Birdie on the Lucio, Flying Tortoise on Zenyatta, Ziggy D on the Roadhog, Select on Genji, and Protogus going to be on Reinhardt.
I really like the defensive Tracer here too, because it lets you keep nice eyes on the rotation. A lot of teams have been trying to go through stairs, and maybe they'll go through top, and maybe they'll come through house, but regardless, as a defense, you want to know exactly where that angle is going to come from. So what a Tracer does on defense is allows you to just kind of safely keep eyes on the offensive push.
Oh, Ziggy D right now rolling right along. Roadhog, a really big part of this offensive push. If Ziggy D is able to get a pick off in the beginning, gonna be really good. Otherwise, he might just get focused down and build ult. So, kind of feast or famine here, but Roadhog, 6-second cooldown, lots of opportunities as offense slowly moving forward and does not land that hook on McCree.
Yeah, they take the high ground here pretty much unopposed. They look for that max range hook, unable to get it. It looks like they're going to try to rotate through bottom stairs here and just pressure Wonderfuls. They think better of it. They're just going to take high ground. An odd standoff here as like the entire offense established on this high ground and no one's really doing anything.
They're just waiting here for that all-important first pick, but they dive right in. Secret moving to the backline right now. They took out Mendo early on, so Mendo first pick of the game. Tilde piling on. Wonderful's down. Slasher able to win that fight versus Genji in the back, but his team is dying all around him. And offense should be able to chain the last few kills here. Ziggy D looking for the hook. Doesn't land it. He's had a rough time. It looks to start things out here, Hex.
Yeah, Slasher's going to come in and take out his opposing number. I don't think it's going to be enough. Pulse Bomb comes in late from Clamp, though. That might flip things around.
It is flipping things around. Clamp coming in. It's really Clamp and Slasher putting on a show right now. Clamp got some very good kills with the Pulse Bomb. Slasher piling it on, and they're able to hold there in a situation where, frankly, the offense should have had that.
They had no business winning that fight on defense at all. Kind of tentative from the offense. It looked like they were tentative when they took the high ground and not really going in, as you mentioned, just waiting. But even after they got a couple kills, they weren't going for like the step on the throat kind of let's finish this fight thing. They let them stick around way too long. Reinforcements came back in. They flipped right back around.
Big ground talk coming in from Steel. Pulls in for Steel. Looking to the side for us. Mendo comes out the Deadeye. Gets 4. Set up by Steel. And a pretty good wombo combo coming out there to put Lucidity on the back foot. And for Lucidity, they are starting to slowly run out of time. They have about maybe 2-3 pushes left here, Hex. So every push for them really matters now.
Yeah, as good as that first push looked, like I said, I'm not going to be able to finish it out. But we are now entering the ultimate phase of the game. They're going to have just about every ultimate up in their next push. Sans Sound Barrier, which is a little bit rough, but I think they will try to combo maybe a Transcendence and Dragon Blade, try to get some work done. They do rotate in, take this high ground right away from the defense.
Offense moving right over. Wonderfuls, though, can really end them here if they drop down, but gonna get the Fire Strike kill anyways. First pickoff coming out here from Wonderfuls, and the defense, they're just rolling right along. The offense, they know they're in trouble. They're gonna back out. But Hex, they're coming down to basically their last push here. They're gonna have all ultimates on the table here that they have. They're gonna throw them into this fight, and that's gonna be it. Any, like, last gasp attempt, probably not gonna be successful, so we'll see if Lucidity can crack this right here, right now. And the select Dragon Blade on point.
Yeah, Ziggy D now joins them on their push. They're going to rotate through this high ground. This has been their strategy the entire time. Come up high ground. Proteges will jump down when he sees a moment. They look for that max hook, miss it yet again.
Select right now, moving in Dragon Blade at the ready. Gonna deflect on to Mendo, start things out. Going for the kill, not able to get. Mendo gives him the juke maneuver. It's 2 kills here, though, from the offense, off of that distraction. Rez comes in, though, from Legit. Defensive back to full strength. We'll see if they can do anything of it. Wonderfuls was just knocked down by the Earth Shatter. And the offense still chaining some kills. We'll see if it's enough. Ziggy D, whole hog on the point, looking for a little bit more. Is down to 1 HP. We'll get the take a breather, and the offense this time around should be able to get this, X.
Yeah, Clamp and Slasher go down last. There are no more heroics out of them. They do finish off that final push. The Resurrection came off, and then they did hit an Earthshatter after. Earthshatter knocked on 3. No cleanup available for them, though, so Wonderful's Earthshatter going without the finishing move. Mendo does start off this next wave with taking on Select. That should slow them down a bit. 2.5 minutes to get through the Streets phase.
One thing I don't get there is why Ziggy backed off from Mendo. It was just him versus Mendo for a while there. He totally could have taken that fight, Roadhog versus McCree. But he was intimidated and had to back out. So Steel takes out Ziggy D here, and the defense should get a good chance here to regroup. Steel using some right-click jumps, getting onto the elevator, and has a Graviton in reserve for the next fight.
Yeah, meanwhile, they've been pushing it pretty far through. If they let them go any further, they're not going to have to worry about high ground, but Mendo starts it off, takes down Zenyatta.
Graviton coming in here from Steel, pulls in 3. Mendo with the immediate fall through, takes out 2. And this is going to be a hold once more here from the side of Barcode. I keep wanting to call them FaZe, which is, it's in the back of my head. It's like, from FaZe. They might have a lot of the old FaZe roster on their team, but they are not, in fact, FaZe.
Not FaZe at all. Barcode is their name right now. But Barcode, of course, is the thing where you don't want to be identified. So I don't think they've generally settled on a team name. The old StarCraft barcodes were a thing that everyone in Grandmasters had a barcode name. So that is what they're going for here. They are rotating around and thinking that they've gotten this push far enough that they don't have to deal with high ground. Mendo says otherwise. Takes out Zenyatta again. That has been a theme so far. Mendo really targeting Flying Tortoise.
We'll take a look at the offense right now. They blow up Sound Barrier, they rush things in, but they lose Protogis really early on to this fight. Mendo piling on over the top, takes out Tilde. It's a 64 in favor of Barcode in the offense. Gonna have to back out. Once more, Hex, they're in the unfavorable position where they have to throw all their ults on the line to win a fight. The problem is, though, they have to win at least 2 fights to bring this payload from here to the end. So even if they win this next fight, Hex, they're not necessarily in a great position for the rest of the map.
Well, they've clearly made the decision that they're not going to contest high ground, right? They only have 1 hero that can even get up there. You can't send Select up there alone. You're not even running a Zarya to give them a bubble. So you're going to force a fight on the ground, and you need to make them push on the ground. This is nice. They rotate through the house. They get the car far further now. So then, again, the high ground does not become the biggest concern.
Deadeye coming out here from the side of Mendo. Not sure it's getting anything just said. Here comes Select. Dragon Blade at the ready. On the top. Looking for Mercy right now. Rez is going to come down anyways. Bringing up the fallen defensive heroes. Tilde on the clamp. So offense still doing decent work, but they're out of ults now. This is where Barcode gets her back in the favor as Mendo unrestrained right now. On the top. No one on him. Going right in the hog. Not able to fish him off and ends up dying instead. Bit of a misplay there by Mendo. His team does come in for a little bit of extra follow-up, but we'll see it works out as Barcode does pick up 3 kills at the very end.
Yeah, Mendo won in 1v4, just trying to get some trades out there, noticing that the clock had nearly run out, and if he traded out there, they would be totally fine. So not the biggest mistake. 96.94 is the total distance. They do not complete the second point. Easy win condition for Barcode. I almost called him FaZe right there, too. So all they have to do is get it through halfway through the Streets phase.
That's really the trouble here, is not calling them FaZe for most of the day. Of course, the new FaZe is the old We United roster, but this roster, a lot of their players were known as FaZe for a very long time, so breaking out that habit is going to be hard.
Barcode looks pretty good, though, when they really needed to clutch it out. That's kind of what we expected out of this team, right? So that even in unfavorable positions, can they just win their duels mechanically? The very first fight, we saw Slasher and Clamp bring it back all by themselves, just mechanically on their Zenyatta and their Tracer. So that's the thing when you have like the talent and skill on a team, and even if you don't have the coordination, that you can win 2v4s, you can win 2v3s, and that's absolutely essential to bring those fights back. That's what they did. First, we'll see what their offense wants to present here.
Justice ain't gonna dispense itself.
All right, so taking a look here at the defense as they roll out here from the side of Lucidity. A defense that really, I mean, their best chance of winning this is holding point A, but that's not super likely in general against any team, let alone against Barcode with what we saw in the last game. But it will be Iskabirdie here on the Mercy, Select on Reaper, Ziggy D on Zarya, Flying Tortoise on Zen, Tilde on McCree, and Protogis once more here on the Reinhardt. And I don't know, Hex. It's going to be a rough task here for Lucidity. Much more can be said.
Yeah, it's a pretty standard defense, and whenever a team is running a Mercy, of course, that's the eye you want to keep on the kill feed. If the Mercy stays alive, it's going to be way hard for the offense to push in. If they somehow get her down early, that is going to be a boon for the offense. The offense is running kind of a dive composition here. Both Wonderfuls and Steel on those dive tanks. It's going to be Winston and D.Va respectively. Legit will be running on the Lucio, of course. Slasher, of course, is on Zenyatta as well. Clamp will play McCree, and Mendo taking up the mantle of Genji.
All right, we'll see just what Mendo's Genji can do. There's a point where he was known as one of the most terrifying Genjis in the game. Hasn't really had that title for a long time, but we'll see if he can reclaim it. Of course, things a little bit rougher for Genji in this patch, but Mendo right now just assaulting the top, pushing back Reaper. And here comes Winston diving right in. Gonna get killed immediately, though. The coordination between Mendo and Wonderful is not quite there. Mendo finding himself here on an island, and very lucky to be alive right now as the rest of Barcode starts rushing in.
That dive style does take an immense amount of coordination. Mendo bringing it back all by himself, though, as he takes on both tanks on the opposing team. Clamp chimes in, takes on his opposing number. They force out this Transcendence. I don't know if it's going to be enough. Here comes a really nice Resurrection.
Rez does come out here, giving the defense a little bit of new hope, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. They're bleeding way too many kills here. Mendo should have been finished off way earlier in that fight. Somehow was able to clutch it back out and get 2 kills. And as a result, the defense is going to be trickling back in here. Very unlikely that they get back in, and they will not. It's going to be Barcode taking the point, and now they have 5 minutes and 20 seconds to bring this payload, not even to second, but right before second, and they will be winning this map, winning the match, and moving on.
Yeah, Birdie and Ziggy apparently had designs of trying to reinforce there and contest first point, but then they thought better of it. Then they ended up trying to get out of there, chased down really late by Mendo. Tilde does take out Mendo to begin this fight, but it should not be a huge difference as he'll be back in the fight by the time they need him. Yellow box of victory, not too far away, only past the first bend.
All right, so taking a look here. Offense still on its way. Clamp, McCree on the high ground right now. Defense in a bit of trouble here. They don't have control of the rooftops. They are going to have to try and get control sooner rather than later. And they're up against a whole lot of ults here. But Protogis on the Earthshatter picks off 2 to start things out. Mendo hitting the dust, but Wonderful is coming right back in. Primal Rage at the ready. 2 are down. Both supports for the side of Lucidity are down. And this is a big Winston play. Wonderful has picked up a triple kill. Primal Rage.
Yeah, Wonderful's died really early in the last 2 fights, but that's kind of just what happens when you're playing Winston nowadays, right? And is it a valuable death? Did he disrupt enough to let his team clean up? And for the most part, he did on that dive composition. There, not a valuable death because he does not even die. They are going to get this to this box. That is Barcode moving forward.
Yeah, Mendo with the Dragon Blade at the very end, just to zone people out. Not that I'm sure they could even have gone back in anyways, but pretty dominant stuff by Barcode there. I wouldn't say it was completely clean. There was definitely areas where their coordination seemed not all on the same page. And I just point to that early rush in where Mendo and Wonderfuls went in. Wonderfuls went in. Mendo wasn't there. Wonderfuls got picked off. Mendo probably should have died as well, but it was just a mechanical skill gap that let them turn that around in their favor, despite not being on the same page. And that's the thing about Overwatch. You can have all the team coordination in the world, but if you're not hitting your shots, or you're up against someone that hits a whole lot of shots, you're still gonna have trouble.
Yeah, that Deadeye was insane. So that is Barcode moving on. They're going to be facing against a team called Oversalted Gaming. Thumbs up from me. I really enjoyed that name. Some kind of foreigners on this team, some Koreans and Chinese players as well on this squad. A familiar name in Shovelhook is on this team as well. So a new challenge for this Barcode team as they try to move forward. Still running the best one. As we mentioned, we were doing an open 8, a ranked 8. This is how the tournament rolls. If you have ideas about the format, if it's working for you, if you don't like it, if you do like it, hit exclamation point poll. That gives us the feedback. You know, if you watch these tournaments, we are a flexible tournament squad, and we make a lot of changes. So far, I really like it. That's my feedback. Barcode moving forward.